Good question, Richard. You're talking about fans, fans picking fights. A lot of fans have been talking the winner of Soto Caras and Thurman, possibly facing the winner versus Broner versus Maidana. Can you speak on that?
Wouldn't that be a fight? Absolutely, I think there is that possibility. There could be a Sean Porter against the winner of that fight, Thurman and Soto Caras as well. So there's a lot of, or the Sean Porter against the winner of the Broner Maidana fight. There's a lot of, so many opportunities and possibilities, and it shows you as well. And I want to talk about it a little bit at the press conference. You see that when you have a young fighter like Sean Porter, that last Saturday night at the Barclays Center, Sean Porter was not going to be denied against Devin Alexander. He came to win, and he was not going to walk out without that belt. And this is what these young guys are waiting for. These young fighters, they're waiting for that opportunity to win the world title. And I think you're going to see that on Saturday night here with Cesar Seda against Leo Santa Cruz, and you're going to see it with Kovacs against Shumenov. These guys have been waiting for this opportunity, and here it is, and that makes them that much more dangerous.
How damaging was that loss to Devin?
I think it was damaging.
It was very damaging.
I think it was damaging.
Excuse me, in terms of what do you mean? I mean, like,
it was damaging. No, but I mean, it's still Devin Alexander, and there's going to be another night. And he had an off night. Don't know exactly what happened. I think he underestimated him a little bit. I think why do I say that? You look at some of the comments made prior to the fight, weeks leading up to. I think he underestimated him. Like, I'm ready for big fights. These kind of comments. I'm ready for big fights. I want to be fighting Mayweather. I want to fight this kind of thing. When you hear those kind of comments from a fighter, totally ignoring and overlooking the task at hand, that's not a good sign. And I think that's why I think he underestimated.
As a promoter, I mean, you have a situation where, like, suppose it becomes obvious that Broner should fight Mayweather, and they're talking about how, like, they're not going to do it because they're supposedly brothers or something like that. Isn't there a point at which the money becomes more important than that? And how do you handle that as a promoter?
Well, I'm not so sure that money is going to be the motivating factor for Floyd Mayweather, because Floyd Mayweather has so many other opportunities to make that kind of money, or frankly more. And Adrian Broner has a lot of opportunities as well. I think when the fans are, I think both of those guys are entertainers, and I think when the fans are going to really, really, really demand it, and this is going to be the fight where everybody just wants to see, and the kind of pressure is going to be on Mayweather and on Broner, like it was on us to get Mayweather and Canelo done. I mean, everywhere I went, it was like, oh, you've got to do Mayweather-Canelo, you've got to do Mayweather-Canelo. When I get that kind of pressure, and Mayweather gets that kind of pressure, and Broner gets that kind of pressure, I think that's when that fight has a chance of happening. Well, I'd like to see it. I like to see it, but I'm telling you right now, and we're going to have that conversation after the fight. Don't be so sure that Broner is going to win on Saturday night.
I am from Argentina. Do you have any news about Lucas Matthysse?
That's another guy, I mean, I love to see the fight, which, again, win or lose, whether Maidana wins or whether Maidana loses. One of the fights I'm being asked about all the time is Matthysse and Maidana. And it doesn't matter if both of them lose their fights before or didn't, or won their fights before. It's just a fight people want to see, and that would definitely be a fight I'd love to make. Maybe I don't know. I haven't talked to anyone, but maybe I could see that fight maybe as a potential co-feature on a Mayweather card or something like that. Because we always like to just. I love to put those together, those big cards.
Lucas is coming to States, I suppose, next week or something like that.
Yes.
To talk with you. That's correct?
That's correct.
You mentioned probably...
Very proud of Lucas, and many great fights ahead for him.
Yeah. You mentioned, I don't know, maybe 6 months ago about how Don King used to put on these stacked cards, one of which was the ones that Bernard Hopkins beat Segundo Mercado for the title. There was all these names on the cards. You guys are doing that now.
We're doing that because we think the response we're getting is that's what people like to see. And I keep repeating myself, with this card here. I mean, you look at this card. It's maybe the best card we have put together. And can you believe that? For $10. For $10, you can go and see this card. For $10. I mean, honestly, that's like $250 a fight. You know.
Hey, Richard, parking for the Lakers is $250 just to park.
Yeah, this is ridiculous. I mean, for $10 in San Antonio, you can go and see what is. I mean, everybody's talking about the card of the year. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. Well, it doesn't get better than that.
Well, it's going to get better because you keep doing it.
I keep doing it. Every year, I keep doing it.
Like 3 fights ago, you said this is the best card we ever put on, and then you...
Yeah, exactly.
How many tickets are sold?
Yeah, but now for $10.
I don't know. I think like 15,000 or something like that. 15.
Richard, what has elevated San Antonio as a premier fight destination? Me, as a lifelong native here, I've always prayed for the fights to come here. What would you say was the tipping point to really get San Antonio on the map, to really where outside of Vegas and Brooklyn, the Barclays Center, San Antonio pretty much is the high destination for us?
Oh, it is, no question. I would think, like, look, you guys from San Antonio, you know that better, and you can be a better judge than me. But I believe if you look at the three big cards we had this year, with the Canelo fight, and then the Knockout Kings card, which had some of the best fights this year. I mean, these were like the Thurman fight, the Figueroa fight, and those fights, because they were like unbelievable. And now this one here in December, I think it must have been one of the best years, best 12 months in boxing, big-time boxing for San Antonio. And the reason why we do, if we would have seen, if San Antonio and the people and the fans from San Antonio wouldn't have embraced us the way they have, we wouldn't have come back, you know. But the fact is that they have, and they continue to do so. We will continue to come back.
Abner Mares and Johnny Gonzalez set for February?
Yeah, February 15th.
Staples Center? And I lost the part of the Canelo's future. Can you tell me something? If the Canelo future? What about the Canelo?
So with Canelo, we are waiting to hear back from Miguel Cotto. But there are 4 other names out there. There is Rabchenko, the WBC #1 ranked guy. There is Erislandy Lara, Cuban world champion. There is Carlos Molina, the IBF world champion. And there is Alfredo Angulo. And if I ask you as a fan, as an aficionado, and I ask myself as the promoter, but I ask you as a fan, which one of those fights would you like to see the most?
I believe Lara.
Lara? Okay. And if I ask myself as the promoter, from a business point of view, which one would be the best, then I have to say Angulo. Exactly. So, you know, I think from a stylistic point of view, which one will be the most exciting fight? It will be Angulo, exactly. And people like to see exciting fights. You know, people don't like to see these chess matches. You know, I mean, you saw that with Rigondeaux. I mean, let's say a Rigondeaux fight against Abner Mares. You know, it's like, why would you want to see that? You know, why would you want to see that? You know,
Richard, as a promoter, you know, what are the promotions that you've admired over the years, and which promoter?
We're going to get started in just a few minutes now, so if I can have those that are participating in the restaurant
for the promoters.
There you have it. Richard Schaefer. Stay tuned. EsNews Boxing2815 and Matthysse back reporting.